Oh, I know. That can't be on. You just say hello. You sitting here. There we go. Got it? You need to scooch in a little bit. Let me move this bench down. Everyone's gonna be joining and listen to all that.
What?
All of us, this little pre stuff. Say hello, because there's people are in there already.
We have a lot of pre stuff. So good morning, everyone. Hope everybody's having a good morning. Coffee.
Are you gonna say your introduction?
Anyway, my introduction. Yes. I'm Timmy, and this is my wife, Amber. She's fixing her coffee, and we are the Bradshaws that moved from the city into the Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. And it's where we have our coffee live, and it's to be able to chit chat with folks who,
What was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, here we are, and
We live off grid.
we live off grid, and we have.
Good morning. Excuse him, y'all. How are you guys? As usual, we just, getting our stuff together and getting our coffee together. You got to scooch closer to me. See how your arms cut off? There we go. Look at it. We woke up to snow this morning, y'all. Craziest thing ever. It's been in the 60s, 70s this morning, snow. Mother Nature is off her meds. If anybody has any extra to give her, please send them her way. Hey, you're also in your nose and sniffing and snotting.
Thank you.
Good morning. Hey, how are y'all doing? Good morning, Sherry. How are you? I was talking about you this morning to Timmy. I'm hoping this stuff melts away so you can join us tomorrow. Anyways, you don't even know what we're going to talk about today.
I don't.
I like to do that to him, just surprise him and see if he follows along. Honestly, we normally don't have things planned, but sometimes the Lord presses something on my heart that I feel like we need to talk about. And then he joins, or I'll ask him, honey, do you want something you got to share? And it's not always like this isn't one of those YouTube channels that you find that you're like, ooh, I'm going to learn a lot and how to milk a cow and raise baby chicks. I mean, we'll talk about that stuff too, but this is more, it's just coffee chat. That's it. It's just you meet like-minded people and friends and have fellowship, and there you go. So if you like um, not watching the mainstream news and mainstream media and all the trash you find on TV, you just want to have coffee with some friends, you found the right channel. Or tea. You can get tea if you want. I won't condemn you. Just won't trust you. I don't trust nobody that don't drink coffee. I'm
That's why I
kidding.
started drinking it.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, I converted you. When I met Timmy, he was a Coca-Cola guy. Not no more. We don't even have soda in the house. Unless it's a special occasion or our children bring it. There. But I still don't buy it. Toxic stuff. Coffee, on the other hand, totally different story. So we've had a crazy week here. Did you would you stop that?
Sorry.
He does it to annoy me. It's true. I've taken him to specialists, 3 doctors, and all this stuff that he does just to drive me crazy. The little cough and clear.
It's working.
Actually, I'm kidding. He has allergies. Evidently, there's bad air in East Tennessee in the mountains. Who knew? Who knew that the air quality would be worse in the mountains with all of these beautiful trees and forestry, but it's the mold and everything and the dust and all that stuff. Anyhow,
Trees.
this is something that I think it seems like a lot of people that I talk to lately, and I don't know if guys talk this way or not, but looking for direction. Like you're praying, you're overwhelmed. You don't know which way to go. You don't know what path God wants you on. You feel like you're spinning your wheels. You feel like you're not going anywhere, but you're busy all the time. Does this sound familiar?
Yeah.
Do you guys talk about this stuff?
No.
Oh. uh, chilly here in Maine too. Hey, honey, how are you? I can imagine it's chilly in Maine, and I'm sure y'all are more prepared for the cold than we are. We were already in spring mode. Our trees are budding,
Yeah.
and so I don't know what this is going to do um, to all the spring blooms and harvest and everything else. I know I was nipping at the, see how easy we get off track. I've been nipping at the bit to start my plants, and our friend Sherry's like, it's too early to start them. We're still in winter. Then we're gonna have fake winters. Then we're gonna have mini winters. Then you can start your seeds. I'm like, no, I want to start them right now. I'm stubborn that way because I like wasting my time and effort and having to redo it. But anyhow, so, and then for our homestead, it seems like we have a theme for the year, like what we want to focus on, either intentionally or life happens and makes us focus on those things. Am I boring you?
No. I was just yawning.
Haven't we been talking about what to focus on for the year?
Yes, we
We
have.
do that every year. And so this year, I preemptively said this was going to be the year of water because we haul our water. Um, And we do have running water on the property and we have an artesian well. It's just a distance. And regardless if you've seen the episode that we were on of Homestead Rescue or not, we still haul our water. And it's just not a working system yet. It will be, but it's not right now. And the same thing for greenhouse and our livestock. It's just a very it works. I mean, it functions how we do our water, and we bathe daily, at least every other day, if not daily. And our animals and us all have fresh drinking water, so don't go oh they stink. We don't stink. Well, sometimes even.
Well, we have all the amenities. They just need manual assistance.
There you go. We're just not conventional. So, anyways, I said this is going to be the year of the water. We got some big cisterns. We went and bought one. We've got some. We collect all our rainwater. We have a gutter system that we want to put in place. It just made sense because I figured this would be the easiest thing for our the most biggest impact on our homestead this year. And you agreed at the time,
Hmm.
yeah. And not just we're going to year of the water. Not just God bless you.
Thank you.
You normally have three more. Okay, just a minute. It's got four sneezes now.
I might have one more.
Uh, okay. I know I try to wait to the last one before I say God bless you. Does anybody else do that? Anyhow, um, love that manual assistance. Yeah, girl, definitely manual assistance. Lots of it. Lots of it. I gotta turn this. We're not even. There we are. You're sitting on my opposite side. If anybody
It's 'cause
normally
my hat's crooked.
joins us on Saturdays,
Makes
we flip flopped. I don't know why.
My head's crooked. Okay.
Anyhow, so this year we made that announcement of the year of the water, and that was going to include the water, getting water up here from down in the holler. That was going to be the cisterns. That was going to be putting in the water filtration system for our rain barrels. That was going to be implementing all the things, all the infrastructure that we have, and then purchasing a couple little things like some more gutters and stuff like that. And water diversion. What is so funny? Go ahead.
It's
What?
gonna be the year of the water. Yay!
I can create you a logo.
I'll wear it.
However, and all of those things seem really important. However, sometimes when you're looking for direction and you create your own out of importance or just because you think that it needs to be done, there's massive writing on the wall that you're ignoring. And this you can apply this to anything. It could be your homestead like it is for us. It could be a relationship. It could be your job. It could be, your health. right? You could be saying, well, I'm going to focus on, just growing my own food when, you're so mentally stressed out that you can't even wrap your head around planting a garden. So there's a lot of things that you could apply that same thought process to how we are, and ignoring the writing on the wall. Like, and I think that's because you get so busy. And we talked last week about being still and just
Yeah.
listening. Was that last week?
Yeah.
And just listening. And sometimes we're so busy, especially in a homestead, especially if you're under construction, especially if you have kids that you're homeschooling, especially if you have livestock that you're, especially
It's the squirrel thing.
it's the squirrel thing.
The little squirrel.
Go ahead, talk about the squirrel.
I don't need to talk about it. Everybody knows about
Everybody
the
knows
squirrel.
squirrel.
Yeah.
And we're so busy being busy that we ignore the writing on the wall. And if you are a praying type, which we are, and you're praying about it, sometimes we don't wait for God to answer, or sometimes these answers, but we that have something already preset in our brain of what we want to do, that we kind of ignore it. And then sometimes you can't ignore it and he just slaps you right in the face. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. When we moved to this land, were you overwhelmed with just the vastness of everything that we have to do, or had to do, or still have to do?
Well,
Were you overwhelmed? I'm not saying are you now.
I was still charged. I had that. I
Oh
had
yeah, he
that
was
drive.
excited.
And then, as the time went on, and I realized what it was gonna.
The enormous.
Yeah, all the things that
He
were
started
ahead
looking
of
at the
me,
water, y'all. If you know
and
that
then
parable.
I'm like, oh my goodness. But at that time, I had Gavin. I had him, and
Technically.
Me and Gavin worked side by side, and we got a lot done. And
Okay, can you answer the first question with yes or no? Have you ever been overwhelmed with the vastness and the amount of stuff that you need to accomplish on this homestead?
yes.
Here we go. Short answer. Um, have you been so overwhelmed that you can't focus?
Yes. I can
I
focus on one thing. If
honestly,
I can get set on one thing, I will do it and finish it and I will move on. But I have not done that in what, 5 years since we've been here. I haven't been able to. I
focus on
mean,
one thing.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we've moved pigs 5 times. I've built shelters for the goats and the chickens, and I've
You do it in short spurts.
built all of that stuff and tore it back down and moved it. And I've spent all my time with that. And it's, everything else has suffered really. The water, the house, so there it is.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about that later. You get overwhelmed staying busy.
Yes.
And you get stressed out and you can't focus because everything needs your attention right now. And we always have implemented the policy live things first. So, you could be have your plans for the day. And I say that old saying, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. You can have your plans for the day and then you get started and then a pig gets out or the rabbits get out or the dog brings something home that they shouldn't have brought home, or just live things first. So if you're taking care of something that isn't alive and something alive needs your attention, that's
Yeah.
where you divert your attention.
Yeah.
So it's very, very easy to lose focus, and like I said, put on top of all those other things on the homestead. But you can apply this to everything in your life. So much so that there is the writing on the wall that you're ignoring. And normally the writing on the wall is it started, I was researching where that came from. And the Google search says it came back from the biblical days where in the Bible in Daniel 5 chapter 5, and that was talking about Balthazar, where he was a horrible king and he was doing all these things he shouldn't have, and he ticked God off. And then all of a sudden, during one of the times that he was being really bad, he saw a hand do writing on the wall. And the writing on the wall was warning the king that his kingdom was going to fall. And they said that's where that saying comes from. And it could be true, it could be not. I like it, so I'm going to stick with it. But that writing on the wall is your direction or warning or guide. And especially if you are waiting and listening for God and you're ignoring the writing on the wall because you're either too busy or you're wrapped up or you already have an idea of what you want, but you're not paying attention to what God wants you to do, then that's you're ignoring the writing on the wall that your kingdom's going to fall, or that he's trying to guide you in a way that will be best for you, and you're ignoring it. And we ignore it by being too busy and wrapped up with everything. And sometimes we don't even know how to be still,
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be to listen.
I find that the things that I need to do are usually a struggle for me.
Things versus things you want to
And
do.
things that I want to do seem to go a little bit easier because I'm kind of set in motion with those, and I already know about what it's going to take to do it, and those are the little things that lure us in that um, keep us from doing what God wants us to do. And it sometimes it makes it so easy
To
for
get
us
distracted.
to get distracted that we're just, and
That's absolutely true.
yeah,
Absolutely true. Christine was asking about a well. We'll circle back to that in just a second, honey. Because
that's a
as
deep subject.
yeah. Did you do that on purpose, or was that just a
Oh no,
Timmyism?
I got a bunch of them.
Okay, well, please don't right now for just a moment.
All right, sorry.
So when we first moved here, again, it was overwhelming how much we had to do. Water should be your most important. Well, they say, the rules of three for survival: shelter, water, food. Food kind of is the last, actually. Wait, is there a fourth one to that? It's shelter, water, food.
Well,
But I can't remember what the fourth one is. But anyhow, so when we got here, we did get a water source, but then we moved away from the water source, and now we collect rainwater. So that's why, of course, raising livestock, the importance of the water. But one of the things that we didn't work on, and this is the writing on our wall, I believe, and we talked about this yesterday, is our security and our infrastructure for that, whether it be protecting our border from our things getting out or other things getting in. And over the past 5 years that we've been here, we keep getting the writing on the wall, and we're ignoring it because we're so busy. During the time something happens, and we've had a lot of happenings, we're so passionate during that moment. We're just like, oh my gosh, next week we're getting the guys out here, we're going to hire some people, we're going to cut through this trail, we're going to secure our borders, and
never happened.
that's pretty much the end of that conversation, because something else comes up and we're like, squirrel, you know and what? Yeah, squirrel. It's easy. As she just said, her squirrel right now is a cute little kitten. It's a baby goats, baby chicks, all of those things. Yeah, seeds popping out the ground. I mean, it's just so easy to get distracted. And for us, and I firmly believe our writing on our wall is not necessarily our water. God's provided for us. It's hard, it's tough, but we have everything that we need. Our writing on our wall right now is our security that we keep ignoring. And I feel that if we continue to ignore the writing on the wall, that will be the fall of our kingdom, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
And Timmy, why don't you talk about what happened this week that really kind of shook us a little bit on our homestead?
Well, we have livestock guardian dogs, and they leave, and we really.
Wait, you gotta say the breed, because anybody that knows the breed knows the breed.
Yeah, the Great Pyrenees, and they roam, they go and
They meet the predator.
yeah, they do what they are supposed to do, and they don't stay here at the house. They
You can have
only
a 6 foot wall.
they only they only are at our house during the daytime when they're sleeping, they're resting, and then if they hear something, they're as a pack, they work as a pack, and they take off. Anyway, we had one that didn't.
Our herd sire.
Our herd sire didn't return yesterday for about 5 hours. And
Well, it could have
that's
been longer than that. That's
well,
how-
yeah. It could have been longer than that during the
Wait.
night.
Timmy, it was more than that, wasn't it? It was over. Well, from the moment we got up till after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, never ever has he left the pack like that ever. And we have almost 47 acres of mountainous terrain. I can't hardly walk down to the end of our road, not alone up and down the side of these mountains. So Timmy's out there looking for him, and it devastated our family. Like, we just knew he was dead or injured somewhere, or somebody killed him, or some wildlife got him, which is very unusual for the wildlife. I actually didn't even entertain that thought on the table, because the rest of the pack would have attacked and helped him. I mean, they've brought us coyote spinal cords and
Yes.
skulls and all that stuff constantly. So, and there's 5 of them. So anyhow, long story short, he returned covered in mud, so he could have been stuck in a swamp somewhere, a creek. Someone could have held him. I know it was God. It was a God thing that he returned, and he returned alive. But the very first thing I said to Timmy, I know our direction. I know our direction, because every time that we get this way or something happens, we've had people on our property kidnap our dogs, hold them down, have firearms on them. We've had people come to our property over the mountain with guns looking for their hunting dog. We've had people come on our property, spraying poison on our well for absolutely zero reason. I mean, did I not do it right? How is it that I can't make your coffee and I've been with you 27 years? He likes it sweet.
That's sweet.
Anyhow, and we have the stuff to do it. We've got the fencing, we've got the signs, we've got the purple spray paint. And now, where there's a will, there's a way. There's no impenetrable fortress that you can build on your land. I mean, if people are determined enough, we know they'll get to us, or, you know, the hawk could come out the air and fly down and get one of our chickens, which they have, and we can't protect against the aerial predators. So we get that, but there's also preventative things that you could do. God does give you the brain and the resources for a reason, and I think that you need to use them. But every single time that we have an incident, we have this, this deep desire to pursue it and fix it, plug the leak in the dam. You know what I'm saying? And we keep getting distracted and going in another direction. And I hope this isn't one of those times, because we've both felt that it's very important.
Yeah, I mean,
now more than ever, to tell you the truth.
All those hurricanes that we used to ride out, we used to say, okay, we're going to be better prepared next time. And we never really do. We just
keep riding up,
keep doing what we're doing. And, next thing you know, it's, September, October, and we've got a hurricane that's got 150-mile-an-hour winds coming through.
We're like, yeah, we should have prepared. No, we did prepare.
Well,
we did prepare. And actually, I understand that you want to use that as an example, but at the end, we were stuck at home for well over a week and we were completely fine. We had everything we needed
It's because we had coffee.
and a way to cook it. But when it comes to our security and our infrastructure, that is one thing that we have overlooked out of, just being busy. And it's one thing that we need to focus on. I mean, because it's not just about keeping others out, but it's also keeping the things that need to stay in our land. The dogs is a different story. I don't think that caused me to feel that way having Aslan gone, but no amount of fencing is going to keep him in if he wants to get out. I think he was still on our land when that happened, to tell you the truth. But I also think that, I mean, God knew where he was. He knew he was going to bring him home. Um, he knew. I mean, God, he knows everything. So yeah, we prayed about it. We're like, Lord, let us find him one way or the other, dead or alive. Let us find him so we can have closure because he's our family. But it also was another one of those times that it was just, I mean, as soon as I saw Aunt Aslan and quit crying, I instantly said, we need to focus on our security, our border, our infrastructure. I knew deep inside that this was, I'm like, I told Timmy, I said, how many times are we going to be warned that this is something we need to do before our kingdom will fall? And so that's kind of, and again, you can apply that to your health. It's like, how many trips to the doctors are going to take where they tell you you need to lose weight and exercise, you're going to have a heart attack before you listen? That same type of analogy there. And it's our responsibility. Nobody's going to do it for us. I mean, you could hire if you had the money. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think we need to get started on it and at least get our supplies together and everything, and that way it's there and we're ready to get started.
Especially with what's going on in the world today. I mean, this is not doom and gloom. I always say prepping for peace. Sometimes you can't avoid the chaos and turmoil that comes in your life. You can control how you deal with it and who you go to for comfort, and you also have the ability to prepare now for so you can have peace later. And sometimes that means creating your own borders. Sometimes that means getting your own security. Sometimes that means, learning how to grow your own food so you're not dependent on the grocery store. Whatever your case scenario is, however, whatever God's pressing on your heart, don't put it off. He's pressing on your heart for a reason. He's doing the writing on the wall for a reason.
Yeah.
And that is so you can be prepared in the future, whatever you want to apply that to for your life. And for us, it is our infrastructure. And we're doing some other measures to focus on that. Speaking of, we've got a prepper group meeting tomorrow. I want to say this meeting's topic is about bugging in instead of bugging out. And if you don't know the difference, or if you've never heard the terms, bugging out is when there's a crisis that happens, whether it's nature made or man made, and you have to leave your home or wherever you're yeah, you have to leave and go and survive somewhere else. That's called bugging out. If you stay at home and you stay in place like we used to do for the hurricanes, we didn't do them for all the hurricanes. I mean, we did evacuate some, but and you're staying in place, that's called bugging in. And if you, I think that's the topic tomorrow for our prepper group meeting. We have one here locally in East Tennessee. So if you'd like to go, send me a message and we'd be happy to tell you more about it. If you don't live in East Tennessee, where you could message or get there easily, look, in social media for groups or go to like a local farm store, Rural King, that type of place. Talk to some locals, see if they know of any types of meetings in your area. Because it's a great opportunity, again, to meet like minded people that could be close in your circle that offer information to help educate you.
Yeah.
Wise decision, guys. Security was fourth thing on our list of needs. That might be it, Sherry. When I was thinking of the rules of three to survive, they say three. Um, was it 3 minutes without shelter? You know, no, that's not it. 3 minutes without air. Gosh, why did this escape my brain?
Hmm.
3 hours, I think, without shelter, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. Something like that. Yeah. But the other thing, so that Christine was asking about our well. She says,
Hmm.
let me go back to that, honey, because we will talk about your thoughts on digging an old well back up. Is ours is sinking and wondering if we should keep filling in dirt or digging it out. Well, Christine, is it an artesian well? That would be my first thing. Is it a natural spring fed well? If that's the case, then heck yeah, dig it up. I mean, I would first I'd get the water tested and I'd see, if you guys need to go down further with it and check the water quality. You should be able to go to UT to get a water kit. Um, at your extension agency. You have an extension agency out there by where you are, because I know they do a 4-H. And secondly, find out what type of well it is if you know. If you don't know, I'm sorry, if it's spring fed or artesian. If it's either of those, heck yeah, dig deep, get in that. That's a abundance, a beautiful supply of water. Not only that, wells are expensive, like crazy expensive. And you have the infrastructure in place for your first well, and it's good quality water, I highly recommend doing that and getting y'all manual pump that goes on it just in case the electric goes out. We have a manual pump to install on ours, and then you can get those solar caps too. And Steve shared the other day. You remember I was telling you about that?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I want to say he shared a link for Lehman's, which is really expensive store, but you can get them somewhere else. And it was a stainless steel, like 4 foot long cylinder with a cap on the end. It looked like a long tube on a pulley system where you would lower it in your well casing and manually pull up the water. And it was 4 foot long. I can't remember the diameter, but most well pipes are what, 3.5, 4 inches?
No, ours
Ours is
they're
bigger,
6,
six
8,
inches.
10. Some of them they're big. They get up to big.
I
Right.
would have to do the math on how many gallons of water you could pull up with that. But anyways, it is a way to get water if the electricity went out and your pump wasn't working.
Yeah.
Because the water's not going to do you any good down in that deep well if you can't get it up without power.
Yeah. So if you've got a tube and it holds, like, just say a gallon of water, I don't know how heavy the tube is, but a gallon of water, if it's 8 pounds, and then you've got another, 4 or 5 pound cylinder.
Yeah, they have a pulley system on
Yeah.
this one, so you're not lifting that heavy weight. You're just doing the pulling.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it would be worth it if you get a couple of gallons out at a time, because each time you dip out of it, you're.
The main thing is just getting a manual way to get your water out.
Yeah, our well, it keeps going down, so each time we'd have to drop the cylinder down a little bit further and further, and so.
Anyways, that's the
But
water.
yeah.
And if you have anything to add to that, hang on just a second. Why is it? Oh, that was the same thing from Sherry about the security. Sherry, I'm hoping that it starts to warm up so you can still go tomorrow, because I think, just like going to church, I'm not comparing going to prepper group, like, so don't get it wrong, but there's always 1,000 reasons not to go. Things come up, you're busy, you don't want to travel. It's 1,000 reasons not to go. And whenever I feel that way, that's when I know I absolutely have to go, because there's something that the devil don't want me to hear in service that day.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been with that philosophy. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that about the prepper, but if you can safely attend, we would love for you to go, because I think it's going to be great information. And it's good. It's good to have fellowship with people that are kind of on that same um, mentality as far as discussing the current events in the world and what we can do about it. It's not doom and gloom, just like what we're doing here with y'all, talking about prepping for peace. We're not here to go, oh, there's going to be an EMP, Russia, Russia, Russia. We're going to be attacked. All these illegal aliens coming in, these sleeper cells that are going to be attacking everybody, staying on guard 24 hours a day. I mean, yeah, all of these things are of concern, but we're not going to let it steal our peace. We're not going to let it steal our joy. We're going to try to prepare and
Yeah.
discuss it
Yeah.
without focusing on the negative. Because what does the Bible say? In all things, give praise. All things, give praise.
Well, it's nice to be able to have options when things happen and not try to,
Well, the
try to
panic,
figure it out at the last
right?
moment. And it gives you a sense of peace about it because you know what you're up against and you know what you're doing. I mean,
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is try to learn a new skill or craft in an emergency.
yeah,
That's me talk about panic. I mean, I've seen it too. It's like, well, you watch it on TV. We don't watch much TV and we don't have cable, but we used to watch the survivor shows back in when we lived in South Carolina. And they put these people or alone and afraid or whatever in the middle of nowhere that never really started a fire and they're out there trying to survive and their next meal depends on their ability to catch food and cook.
yeah.
I see pure panic in their eyes. That's not when you want to learn a skill. You want to do it when you have the opportunity to. Just like right now, we have the opportunity to build security where the troops aren't storming our property land right now, our property line right now. There's not, an influx of people coming to take over our property right now. So that would be a good time to install border control around our land. That's it. And don't ignore the writing on the wall. If you've got it in your life, if you feel like you're too busy to even see the writing on the wall or hear what God's trying to tell you, maybe you should pause just a little bit and silence the noise. That goes back to last week's conversation. Anyways, we
Yeah.
gotta go, y'all. I've got a lot to do today. We're actually finally celebrating our Valentine's Day tonight.
We are.
We're not on the regular calendar. We're on our own.
Mhm.
So, anyways, y'all have a blessed day and thanks for joining us for coffee.
Thanks for watching.
Bye, y'all.